Hey everybody, it's me, Serene, and welcome to Serene Speaks, where this is my ministry channel, where it's all things God, all things women, and sometimes a little bit about me. And right now I'm reading 100 Days of Believing Bigger, and we are on day 69. And in the stillness section, where every prayer counts. All those, all those the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never drive them away. John 6:37. And it reads, perfectionism pollutes our perception of our time with God. The enemy loves to twist our view of our quiet time with God, pulling it on trial and accusing us of not being good enough. As a result, we pick ourselves apart, evaluating our prayer performance, criticizing ourselves for having wandering thoughts or less than impressive prayers. We judge the amount of time we spend and how we felt and our inability to feel the presence of God. Ultimately, we put our spiritual intimacy on trial in the recesses of our minds. Our belief about our worthiness and readiness slowly becomes wounded with worry and infected with deadly strands of self-doubt. The worst is when we doubt and judge our standing with the Father. But God says no more. He never looks down upon us, and He doesn't grade us on our prayers. With nothing, God is wasted. No moment of thanksgiving, no moment of praise, no moment of worship or communication with God is insignificant. Not even a simple hello, thank you, or I love you. When God calls us to deeper and higher levels of communion, He does not use condemnation. He uses invitation and affirmation. God wants us to see us as He sees us, which is wanted and wonderful. Moments of stillness and fellowship give you a truer picture of ourselves. God will never drive you away. He will make clear in Jeremiah 33:3, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness. He wants you to come as you are and to come constantly. It's His favorite part of being a father. How have you been judgmental of your prayer time with God? You know, this is a funny thing because I used to think there, okay, so not spending enough time with God. And I think what we do, we judge ourselves based on what we see others doing. Like we have people that we know that pray 3 hours a day. And we're like, how do you pray 3 hours a day? Like they set a whole time aside. And I don't think they pray for total 3 hours. Like they may set the time between 9 and 12. Like they don't do anything before 12 o'clock, right? And that's their time devoted to God. But I'm pretty sure it's not just 3 hours of praying. There's some worship in there. There's some dancing. There's some praising. There's a little bit of everything in there and a waiting for the expectation of hearing God's voice. So what we do is we measure ourselves based on how our lives compare to others. So that's where we're most judgmental. The other part we're judgmental is we get into this sin shame cycle when it comes to spending time with God or anything in that matter. When we be like, oh, I need to spend time with God, but then we turn around and binge 5 hours of Netflix, and the next thing you know, it's going to bed. And then at the end of the day, we give God our last 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then we go through that cycle again. So what I learned is that I have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not desperate. Well, yeah, desperate for God. I have to be desperate for His presence. I have to be desperate to spend time with Him. I have to be desperate to seek His face in the mornings, early mornings. I have to be desperate. That's my time. So I stopped judging about how much time I spend with God and comparing to others. And I start wanting to spend more time with God for myself. At my prayer time with God became not something of I need to spend time with God. It became I want to spend time with God. I really want to get up and seek His face in the morning. I make it a point, and this is not a bragging point, but I make it a point to spend time with God, up and listening to what He has to say in response to what He wants to do for me, in response to my prayers. So I want you to stop judging, like being judgmental about your prayer life, right? Because every prayer counts. Every time I'm at the dishes and I'm praying in the spirit, it counts. Every time I'm in my car driving back and forth to wherever I gotta go, that all counts with God. And we have to be clear and concise in understanding that all of these things count with God. And if you want to build a more effective and fervent prayer life, then one of my biggest takeaways is for you to stop saying what you need to do for God and start demonstrating about what you want to do for God. Because I've noticed that a lot of times that we'll say, oh, I need to read my word, da, 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 but we'll never get around to reading our word. We'll always get distracted with something else. But when we say we want to do something, we tend to usually make that happen. So instead of you saying, I need to read my word, let's talk about how you want to read your word and how you want to pray for God, and watch God explode your prayer life, because he wants to be a part of it. But that doesn't, he wants to be a part of it. Now, although she says we talk about these every little prayer, that doesn't mean you give God shim prayers. You know, you don't spend 10 minutes with God and then go about your day for the next 24 hours. No, you need to grow and develop a prayer life. You need to grow in time and spending time with God. And the crucial, most essence part of spending time with God is making sure that you're always hearing back from God. Okay. So with that being said, this is the prayer for the day. Lord, I thank you that every prayer I pray is heard. Further my desire for deep communion with you. So with that being said, that is day number 69. Join me for day 70. Yes, kingdom seeking. And that is the end of the chapter of stillness. And we are on day 17. That means I have 30 more days to go, you guys. I'm super excited. That's less than a month. And I will have done 100 days of believing bigger. So I hope you're enjoying this journal. I'm going to turn this into a playlist so that, guys, you can, listen to it at any given time you want. Please, if it's your first time, please subscribe to the channel so you get notifications when I'm going to live, because I don't know exactly what I'm doing after this, but I know I'm going to be doing something. So I love you guys with the love of Christ, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.